Hi, this is Amanda, and on this episode of Eat Kindly with me, we're going to be making a meatball sandwich using the Impossible Burger. I absolutely love products like this. I think it's super convenient for any of you that want to go vegan, but something like meat is holding you back. It has all the flavor of beef, if you love that, but it has no cow in it. It's super savory, fatty, it's high in protein, but it has 0 milligrams of cholesterol. So I love products like this, and I think it's gonna make our meatballs taste amazing. All right, time to prep the meatballs. So we're going to be adding 1.5 tablespoons each of fresh parsley and fresh basil. When it comes to basil, I always like stacking it on top of each other like this, and then I will roll it up kind of like a burrito, and then from there I will chop it together. Now for the parsley, I'm pretty much gonna use just the floral part, so I'm gonna cut off these stems. And then with parsley, I just like to fold it in half and then go to town. And then we are also going to need 1 garlic clove, finely minced. Okay, so in a medium-sized bowl, we are going to be adding our Impossible Burger. There we go. And then in goes 1.5 tablespoons of basil, 1.5 tablespoons of parsley, and then our garlic. To bind our meatballs together, we're also going to be adding in some panko breadcrumbs. Normally, you would also be adding in an egg, but this is a vegan channel. We're not doing that. So in goes a heaping half cup. And then to season our meatballs, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple. So first, we're gonna start off with some garlic salt. You could use regular salt, but I'm just such a fan of garlic salt. So we're gonna be adding in 1/2 teaspoon of this. I also love the bite that black pepper adds to meat, so I'm going to be adding in 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And then of course, it wouldn't be Italian without some Italian seasoning. I mean, I already know we added some fresh herbs, but love myself some good old-fashioned Italian seasoning. So I'm going to be adding in 1 teaspoon of this. So of course, I would advise wash your hands and then go crazy. I also forgot to add the Parmesan, but the Parmesan we're going to be using is by the brand Follow Your Heart. I think it tastes great. I don't think it tastes exactly like Parmesan, but it does the job. So in here, we're going to be adding 2 tablespoons. It's time to scoop these into meatballs. All right, the meatballs are all done. So I am going to now put them on this sheet tray. And right now I'm preheating my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and they're going to cook for about 10 to 12 minutes or until evenly browned. Okay, so while the meatballs are in the oven, I'm going to get started on prepping the bread. So I decided to get these demi baguettes from Sprouts. I thought these were really cool because it's one of those take and bake breads, so they're not fully crispy, crunchy baguettes yet, which I think is perfect because that'll give us enough time to cook it in the oven, melt the cheese and everything. We are going to cut these in half. If you want to have a more open face look, I would say don't cut it all the way through so you have it kind of open. I totally forgot though, so it's okay. So now what we're going to do is scoop out some of the insides. This is going to kind of give us a nice space to add our meatballs and sauce. So this is gonna be pretty simple. All you need to do is scoop out with your fingers the bread. Don't go too overboard though. You don't wanna go to the very bottom. You just wanna make some space. And we're going to do this on each half of the loaf. All right, now that we have our breads all picked apart, we are going to lather some olive oil on top and then season it with garlic salt. So I'm gonna be using this one by Kostarina. I've only seen it at Whole Foods. It tastes amazing, super high quality olive oil, and I would highly recommend it. And then I'm gonna do a light sprinkle of garlic Now these breads are ready to go in the oven, but I'm gonna wait until those meatballs are ready. All right, so the meatballs are almost done, so I'm going to go ahead and heat up our marinara sauce for them. You could definitely make your own at home, but you know, if you're trying to make a quick, easy meatball sandwich for one day, then using jarred is the way to go. I really love this one by Trader Joe's. It's their tomato basil marinara sauce, and it's only $1.99, I think. And then I'm gonna start heating that up. And in the meantime, I'm going to take out the meatballs and I'm going to put in the baguettes instead. If you guys want a little close up. So I ended up cooking that for 10 minutes on one side, then I flipped them, and then I cooked that for another 2 minutes. So I'm gonna put these in the oven for 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna take them out, put on cheese and the meatballs, and then we're gonna finish them off. All right, now that the sauce is pretty warm, I'm going to add in our meatballs. So you could just add them in one by one. And then I'm just gonna spoon some sauce all over them. Oh my God, these look so good. Okay, so they're pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to turn off the heat, and then I'm gonna finish these off with some fresh parsley. All right, so now I'm gonna wait for the bread to come out of the oven, and then we can start assembling our sandwiches. They're still a little soft, but that's okay since they're gonna be going in for a bit more in the oven. The last thing you want is your bread to get too hard and crispy, because then it's just gonna be a little painful biting into your sandwiches. Personally, I like to add cheese on one slice of the bread, but definitely feel free to add them on both halves if that's your style. Now I'm going to spoon in some sauce. And honestly, guys, don't do this in the order that I did. I got a little too excited with the cheese. Add sauce on both sides first, then add cheese. So I'm just gonna move the cheese over here, and then I'll add sauce on this side. There we go. And now it's time to add in our meatballs. This can be totally up to you. I like to make sure it is super filled, so I add it to the brim. Oh my God, these look amazing. And then to top it off, we're gonna add some fresh basil right on top of the meatballs. Okay, so now these are perfect and ready to go in the oven. All right, guys, well, here you have it, vegan meatball sandwiches. And the last thing we have to do now is try them, which I'm so excited for. All right, let's dive in, shall we? Okay, let's go. Wow, that's very yummy. I mean, look at this. So cheesy, meaty, gooey, absolutely delicious. If you love spice, I would highly recommend adding chili flakes in this too. It'd be so yummy. This is Amanda for Live Kindly. Thank you so much for watching. Do you like the Impossible Burger? Have you ever made anything with it? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you again next time.